Welcome to the Movie Club. It's been a minute, we've been away, but we're back and it's good to see you. I'm JT.
And I'm Rehana, and what better way to end? What year are we in again?
2021, I think.
Oh, not 2020 anymore, thank goodness. With another review of a Nicolas Cage movie that's actually a testament to his current tax problems, right?
Nicolas Cage, the man of the year in terms of his filmic output. I believe he did about 30 or 40 films this year, two of which have made it onto the Movie Club. So look, and this is the second of those. That film, indeed, is Willy's Wonderland, directed by Kevin Lewis, a name you haven't heard before, possibly for a good reason.
Definitely, and I don't think we want to hear from him again, but let's save that for the end. Willy's Wonderland is a wonderful movie about a man who has to clean a diner.
Welcome to Willy's Wonderland. Spend the night cleaning Willy's Wonderland, and I will pay to have your car fixed.
I mean, that's the premise, but this diner just happens to be haunted by all of these animatronic characters that at some point murdered children. I really can't put it any more simply than that, JT.
No, you can't, because this movie has layers upon layers, like some kind of layer cake of entirely unnecessary exposition and the satanic cults involved. There's a bit of Get Out, I think, in there somewhere in terms of body transference, but it's a whole load of pants that gives Nicolas Cage the chance to emote without saying a single word.
Which is something he's quite good at. I mean, as we've seen in Pig, he won an award for that, didn't he?
He did. He won a bunch of awards for Pig, but at least in that, he was comparatively verbose in Pig compared to Willy's Wonderland, in which, as I say, the dialogue is sparse and he has very little to emote, apart from grunts. He does grunt a lot during fight scenes.
And it's such a shame because Nicolas Cage is probably the only good part of this entire movie. In fact, this movie kind of feels like a good 20 minutes wedged in between about 60 minutes of utter drivel.
Yeah, this feels like a sketch that would work very well on sort of a dark Saturday Night Live type thing where Nicolas Cage comes in, never takes off his sunglasses, and beats the crap out of a bunch of animatronics, stopping to drink energy drinks and playing pinball along the way.
He's not trapped in here with them. They're trapped in here with him.
I'll be honest, that's all I wanted from this movie, and it didn't disappoint. Where it did disappoint is trying to shove a bunch of other things into it that we didn't really care about. There were a bunch of teenagers who were trying to stop a satanic cult that no one really cared about. At some point, two of them run off and do something totally ridiculous, given that they're in a terrible haunted mansion. There's not enough blood to warrant, sitting through it. I mean, I guess I would sit through it a couple of times. There's a lot of cleaning in this movie, and it's kind of testament that I've turned into my mother, that I quite enjoyed all of that.
You're here to be a human sacrifice. Have you been listening to a word I've been saying?
But yeah, what did you think?
Well, I did clean up the house after I watched it, so there is something therapeutic. I mean, Nick Cage is a method actor in that he started with a filthy set, and it looks like he cleaned it himself by hand, taking a break to fight things that may or may not have been there. I mean, his consumption of energy drinks, which I think massive missed sponsorship opportunity there, or partnership opportunity, may have had him hallucinating. And I think that there's a couple of weird shots in the film in terms of aspect ratio or that sort of thing that do suggest that he might be hallucinating the whole thing. If not for the actions of third-party characters.
And that's an interesting point, because there are a couple of points in the movie where the music and the setting and the way that things are shot do feel a little bit dreamlike and a little bit strange. Like, the first 5 minutes was fantastic. Just when they were introducing all the characters, I was like, oh boy, this is going to be really, really fun and really interesting stylistically. But then they just end up falling back into all of those awful horror tropes with teenagers being dumb and really just not answering the questions we're trying to ask. Like, who is Nicolas Cage in this movie? What does he do? Why was he in prison? None of that is answered.
He is the man with no name. He is a dude with a cool leather jacket and sunglasses that he seldom takes off, and a beard that isn't quite the same colour as his vaguely unconvincing hair. But look, he can pull it off. If anyone can pull it off at this point, it's Nicolas Cage or possibly Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine in an alternate dimension, Liam Neeson just trashing the hell out of a bunch of animatronics. I actually thoroughly recommend this movie. Find a bunch of people you enjoy making movies with, watch the movie, and make fun of it.
Yeah, this is not a movie you need to think about. This is a movie to perhaps take a drink every time a jump scare happens, because really, it is in the tradition of Five Nights at Freddy's, and perhaps it's aimed at the audience that grew up playing that game, because, look, they are now apparently
adults with disposable income. Speaking of Five Nights at Freddy's, it is definitely such a wasted opportunity. I would have loved to see just a full-on Five Nights at Freddy's movie with Nicolas Cage. I think he would have been excellent as the main character. But unfortunately, they probably couldn't secure the rights because they spent all their money on Nicolas Cage, and this is where we're at.
They did. They spent all their money on Nicolas Cage, no money on the script. And look, I think hopefully they threw the female lead, a young lady by the name of Emily Toster, who has big eyes, massive sort of, the biggest eyes outside of anime. Terrible actress outside of that. But
I didn't want to say it, but yeah, she was awful.
Look, the only other guy that stood out was a guy who looked a bit like a young James Van Der Beek from Dawson's Creek, if anyone gets that 90s reference. Look, not a good movie by any means, but if you have to see one Nicolas Cage movie this year, see Pig. If you have to see 4 Nicolas Cage movies this year, yeah, throw Willy's Wonderland.
Is among that, yeah.
Yeah,
the man needs the cash, go for it.
Look, you're locked inside probably.
Yeah, what else are you going to do? Anyway, thank you so much for joining us this week. We had such a blast finally meeting up for the second last time.
Second last time this year, the penultimate time this year. So, look, I've been JT.
I've been Rehana, and I always will be, hopefully.
Yeah, I may not be JT next week, we'll never know. But this has been the Movie Club. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.